Hi, Sunil. You're on mute.
Yeah, hi Mohita.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We'll wait for a minute or two more.
Sure.
Yeah, all right. Sunil, let's begin. And the others joining in, they can stream in. And the video
Sure,
is anyway being recorded, so I'll put it up later on.
sure, no problem.
Yeah,
And
all right.
is Nikhil joining or do I just need to start?
I think just start because it's 8:02 p.m. That's okay.
Yeah,
If yeah, I'll take care of whoever needs to be let in. I'll do that.
no problem, no problem.
Yes. Thank you
So
so much.
yeah. Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know there is an India-Australia match going on, but still, thank you for joining. So last week we started our journey with AlgoGyaan in terms of how to use Python, how to utilize visual code, and how to deploy something over there, and how to check that on the sandbox environment, how to check over the test network and all. But again, the challenge with this industry in blockchain specific is every blockchain platform asks you to learn something new. So last time also we discussed that we don't want that. And that is the reason that we came up with the two most popular languages. One is Python, the other is C Sharp. So Python we already studied last week, and today we are going to have C Sharp. Now C Sharp basically is a very popular programming language. If you carefully study, it's 20, 30 years old. And there are plenty of Microsoft developers across the globe. And every sort of that Microsoft developer is missing in blockchain. Why? Because there is no way you can connect to blockchain directly from your C Sharp, right? The challenge over there is like there is no native library over there, right? And so we created an extension for you guys so that you can create native, I mean, you can interact natively with your deployed smart contracts and all. So today we are going to see what is that extension, what are the different possibilities over there, and what are like four or five different kinds of templates are given to you using MAUI, which is basically the newer generation of Xamarin, right? So how that those things work, we'll see couple of projects running also, and overall how to start with .NET and all, right? Specifically with C Sharp. So just give me a moment. I'll share my screen. Let me know once it is visible to everyone.
It's visible.
Yes.
Thank you. So basically, when you start uh, .NET Studio, Visual Studio, which you can download from here. This is the website, not this one. This is the website. You can download the community edition, which is lifetime free. But we need to have 2022 Visual Studio 2022 and not 18, because I believe that the extension does not support 18. So we need to download 2022. You can download from this website, and again, it's completely free. Community edition is free. Professional enterprise, we don't require that. So after you download, this is the, you can say, basic screen you come up with, like clone a repository, open a project or solution, open a local folder or create a new project, right? So over here, if you go ahead and select this one, create a new project, then it will showcase all the different, you can say, platform templates, which are visible to you. These templates basically allow you to create various kinds of applications. Now, what we are trying to do is we are trying to achieve Algorand integration, right? So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to Visual Studio, open any project you are working on, or you create a new one, go to Manage Extension, and then search for Algo Studio. So let us see that how that works with our studio. So let me just find out, because I've already installed that. So I'll go to Algorand, and you can see that there are different templates already created for me. And I'll go with this one. Algorand console template for Sandbox. Sandbox is basically your virtual environment. Last time we discussed that there are three kinds of environments possible with Algorand. One is Sandbox, which runs locally. If you remember, this is the same Docker image. And you take a look at that there are three different files which are running. AlgoKit indexer, AlgoKit AlgoD node, and AlgoKit Postgres. So one, basically, this is your main blockchain node. This is basically for indexing purposes, and this is your database, right? So this is the sandbox environment which is running in your machine. Now, there are certain times what happens is you try to run the application before running this one. And then after running this one, when you try to connect, you end up into error that connection denied. So in those cases, just close the Docker desktop and restart again so that you will be able to make the connection, right? Now, over here, if I go ahead with this one, Algorand console template for Sandbox, by default, it won't be there. That means this is not by default, right? So over here, I need to need to click on next. So let's do that. Sandbox 3. Anyways, I've created formal testing and all. So I've created 2. Now the third one I'm going to create. So let's wait. So once you are able to do that, on the right hand side, you will be able to see Solution Explorer. If by any chance, if it is not visible, then you should go ahead to view, and you can go ahead, you can start from Solution Explorer from that particular menu item, right? Now, but over here, you can see that there is some error in the packages part, Algorand 2 and Algo Studio. Now, we will come back to over there. First of all, I need to showcase how to install Algorand. So you have to go to Manage Extensions. And then over here, you can search for Algorand. And the moment you search, you can see that Algorand Visual Studio extension for Algorand by Frank. So remember this name. This is the person who has created this one. And the other one is Algo Studio. So two libraries you are supposed to install. Next is anyways will be a part of this one. It will be automatically installed because this is an upgraded version. So you don't need to have Algo Studio. You just need to find out Algorand and you are good to go with this one. So install this plugin or extension rather, which will be a VSIX file. What is a VSIX file? VSIX file is a package file which basically allows you to install these templates or sample templates for .NET or specifically Visual Studio, right? So let me just close this window and let us go over here because this is an updated version is already there. So I'll just update this one. And it will ask me about the version upgrade over here. I'll just click on update. I need to check on apply, accept, and we are good to go. So you can see that now at the bottom, we have 0 errors. But the question is, where are the files? I'm not able to see any contracts. I'm not able to see anything else. And something like the way in that particular PyTeal code we had hello world and all. So over here on the right hand side, extend the folder called contracts, and all the sample contracts created for you are on the right hand side, like concat bytes contract or remove duplicate bytes contract or split payments dot contract or composed bytes operation. So not a hello world kind of scenario, but again, very simple smart contracts are given to you, right? So overall, what is the issue? What is the main first step for us? Install that particular extension, which I just showcased by searching Algorand. The name of the developer, the particular extension developer is known as Frank. So please try to identify that particular person only and install that plugin. I believe there are other plugins also. I'm not sure whether they are still active or not, but this is an active plugin and constant development is being done for this extension. So please utilize that, right? Now, on right-hand side, you will be able to see 4 contracts. That's fine. What I want to see is whether these executes or not. So how that execution happens? Since this is a console application. Now, what is a console application? So console application is a very simple application which runs on your CLI. CLI is known as command line interface. So whatever you are going to execute, the output will be displayed over there. Similarly, if you are a Python developer, in Python also whatever you are using, you can do from the terminal window also, and you will be see the output over there. Similarly, over here also, that is the same case, right? Now in Python, we have packages and all. Over here, we have namespaces or libraries or whatever you want to call them. So you can utilize over here using so that from whatever the namespace, there are other libraries involved in that namespace, you are going to utilize. The moment we have declared the name sandbox3, the name is given to this namespace. That means this is our tool. But ultimately, it boils down to one thing, which is a class. So ultimately, in Python also, we were trying to create a class. Over here also, we are trying to create a class. So in class, there are 2 things which are common to every programming language. One is your functions and the other is variables, right? So over here, we have created few variables for you. Now, let me explain what are these variables so that you get a better idea of what we are doing. First of all, last time also, I explained that in order to connect to your blockchain framework, any sort of blockchain framework, you need couple of things. First, you need your contract address. And the second, you need the RPC address or RPC URL. Now, what is an RPC URL? RPC URL basically remote procedure call, right? That means where your network is running, either local, then the local host link, or if you are running some online node, then an online link or a live link. Sorry, not online, but live link, right? So the point is, what we are trying to achieve using over these AlgoD API instances, that where is our network running? That means where is my instance running, right? And if you carefully scroll down, there are certain functions defined over here, and which functions will tell you that exactly at which particular address our sandbox environment is running, right? So you can see that there are a couple of functions, send AlgoGyaan connection and set up accounts and all. We will take a look at that. So over here, then we have the KMD API. Now, KMD is basically a wallet container, you can say that, because the wallets are created under this KMD API. So over there, we need this KMD to talk to our wallet addresses. Now, if you remember last time I told you, whenever a sandbox environment runs, it gives you 3 wallet addresses. So we are going to utilize any one of those 3 wallet addresses to interact with our smart contract. First, we will deploy the smart contract. Second, we will interact with the smart, right? And over here, we can say wallet name. Now, this is unusual. It was not there in the Python. Like in PyTail, it was not there, but here it is there. Why? Because the wallet we are using right now, using this sandbox environment, it's an unencrypted default wallet. That means whatever the sandbox presents, the wallet address, it is unencrypted, right? So you can utilize the wallet in the forms of HD wallet. So what is an HD wallet? An HD wallet you can utilize using a mnemonic. So if you remember last time when we displayed the code or when we exported the account, this is my wallet address and I came up with a certain characters. You can say from reject to this peanut, right? Now all these words basically form which is known as a seed phrase. So from this seed phrase, all the wallets and respective private keys are generated. That means the PKI structure, private key infrastructure, your public key infrastructure, your public key, that means your wallet address, and your private key, that means the password or private key, whatever you are saying, associated with wallet address. Every single wallet address over here, we can see that there are 3 wallet addresses generated, KO, then this LA, and this QX. All the 3 wallet addresses are generated using this seed phrase, right? So it is extremely important for us to manage the seed phrase also. So overall, what we have done, we have set the RPC URL, we have set the wallet from where we can extract our wallet addresses to be consumed by the application. And these are the 3 different wallet addresses we are creating: creator, user, and user, right? If you have any questions, you can type in the chat. So after some presentation, I'll address all these questions. So don't worry about that. If I am even moving fast, let me know, right? So if you want to just slow me, if you want to reduce the speed, let me know. Now over here, you can see that there is a function called setup algo connection. That means we are connecting to our RPC URL. Now forget about rest of the codes. This is the AlgoGyaan URL. Yes. How can you confirm? Go to your Docker desktop and you can see that over here, right? 4002. The links are given 4002 and 4000. So the AlgoGyaan basically and the indexer both are now working for us. That means we are trying to connect to our local environment, which is known as a sandbox environment. So this particular code creates that connection for us. Set up AlgoGyaan connection. That means we are now connected to our RPC URL. Next, what is the next step? The next step is, because in order to even deploy a smart contract, we will need a wallet. So for that, we are going to do this one. So set up accounts. Now set up accounts calls one more function or one more task. In C#, there is a thing called task also, which gets completed and then you can take the control back to the original task, which is called, right? So over here, get default wallet, which is this particular task. Over here, what are we trying to do? We are running a loop over here for each loop so that we can have all the 3 wallet addresses in our accounts variable, right? So this particular accounts variable is an array. Array of what? Or list, basically. List of what? List of 3 wallet addresses. You can see over here that a list is created and particularly all the 3 addresses now are added to this particular variable, accounts. And then it returns. It returns to where? It returns to this particular setup accounts function. So what happens over here? Creator becomes the index or the first variable in the accounts variable, becomes a creator wallet. The second wallet address becomes the user wallet, and the third wallet address becomes the user 2 wallet. So what happens over here is 3 particular wallet addresses are generated for us using what? Using KMD API. And using this particular KMD API, we generated or we fetched 3 wallet addresses, and now we entered over here. So now creator has a wallet address, right? So first, second, third steps are over. Then what happens over here? Then we are supposed to deploy the contract. So we can see the contracts over here. Now those contracts are pretty big, so I'm not going to dig deep into this one. But I can showcase you very simple contract, which I've just made for you guys so that you can understand how to do that, right? So let us come back over here. So this is your contract. Now there is a catch over here. In order to add a new contract, let's say you want to develop your own contract. You don't want to deploy all these contracts because anyways, these are sample contracts. So you can right click over here. You can add and you can add a new item and you can name like test contract .cx. And that basically becomes your contract, right? Over here, which is allowed, your class is created and you can start development of your smart contract using this CS file. CS basically stands for C#, right? So if I delete from, I don't want right now this one. So I'll just delete this file so that it doesn't end up into any errors for me. But first step is create a class over here in the contracts folder, right? Now let me showcase in the original example which I have created for you guys. How does that look like? So if you expand this one, not this one also, so just give me a moment. Yeah, over here. So this particular contract is created by me, or other words, a class is created by me. So you can see that I have named it sample contract and I have inherited smart contract, right? We all know these also work similarly in our Solidity programming also. If you are coming from that Ethereum background, that we are inheriting this particular package over here, smart contract. So because we are inheriting this one, these two functions are mandatory. So you can copy from any of these contracts, the first two functions. See, the first two functions are there, right? We don't even need to understand what are these two functions, but we need to copy those two functions and paste over here. So this is your mandatory code, right? You have to copy from the other files. Then this is basically your code, right? So over here, I have declared a very simple function. Public integer add to number. So I am adding two numbers, integer A and integer B. And I'm just returning both the addition of these variables. But this is interesting over here. Normally, there is a function written over there that this is a function and all, or if you are creating some RESTful APIs, some things are written over there. But here, what are we doing? It's a smart contract method. Yes, we have denoted that, or we have told the compiler that this is a smart contract method. And when it completes, you don't need to do anything. So that is no operation, that is 0. So there are multiple options also. If you just put a dot, you will be able to see clear state, close out, delete application, obtain. There are various different options. Currently, because we don't want to do anything, we are doing it no operation. And then we are passing the function name over here, right? So over here, what it is asking for? Nothing, just the string, and we are passing the function name. So first step, what we have done. We have selected the contracts folder. We have right click over there. We have added our new item. That is basically your contract name. You change the name over here and you add. Upon adding, a file like this will be created, but a blank one. So you have to first of all write this code, smart contract inheritance. You have to add these two particular namespaces, which you will be able to find from other contracts also. If you open over here, you can see that, right? So both of them are written for every contract. So just copy that one, copy those files over here, and over here also do the same thing. And then finally add your smart contract function, right? So these two functions are mandatory. This particular thing is mandatory, and these two particular namespaces, without them, you will not be able to compile the code. it will generate some errors, right? So these 3-4 steps ultimately will create a sample contract for us. But here, the developer of this extension is very smart. So what happens over here in all the, if you have ever worked on blockchain platforms, there is always a challenge of hiding down from where the request is being passed. So the RPC URL is not always hidden, right? The RPC URL is visible to everybody who is calling from the front end, who is calling the smart contract. But over here, this developer wanted to hide that link also. So what he has done is he has written a thing called reverse proxy. Now I'm sure you must have heard about what's a reverse proxy. So reverse proxy is basically hiding the address from where actually the request is generated, right? So that is known as reverse proxy. And this reverse proxy ultimately allows you to hide your entire RPC URL. That means you are safe from the prying guys who are trying to identify your RPC URL and maybe want to perform some malicious activities, right? Now, how to generate those proxies then? Because we are just starting, it is difficult for us to do that. So just right click on the file which you have just created, like this one. And at the bottom, just a second, guys. Why is it not there? Okay, it is not saved, I guess. No, still it is not there. Just a second. I'll showcase in some other file. That is also not there. So might be some changing over here. But there is a way to generate the contract proxies. Just give me a moment, guys. Now the entire thing is gone. I'm not sure what happened with the plugin which I've just updated. The entire thing is gone. Yes, now finally I got it. I don't know what was wrong. But over here, you can see that generate proxy at the bottom. So right click the contract which you have just created. And on the right click of, you will get a menu item, the last menu item calling generate proxy. Now, if you click over there, it will ask you the folder name like this particular. So traverse to this particular folder called contract proxies and select this folder to save your sample contract proxy. Well, I've already saved that, so I'm not going to do anything over here. I'll just cancel this one. So ultimately, what happened? You are able to see that smart contract proxy over here. And what does this proxy do? This proxy ultimately hides your RPC URL. That means you cannot trace back to the original RPC or this URL from where the request is coming or request directly is going to your smart, right? So we have written the smart contract by extending the contracts folder, by adding a class file over there. We created the sample contract proxy also. And now what will happen at the end? Now we want to see the output, right? So let us run this one. Hopefully it will run. Yes, so it ran successfully. And you can see that 27 is visible. Rest of the things which are already there, some balance payments, some split payments and this and that, that's okay. What I'm interested in, how did we get this 27, right? So now let us take a look at the Now let us take a look at the particular code. How did we achieve this particular 27 as a value? So as I told you, first step again repeating guys, from the contract folder, right click, create a file, generate a proxy. So the two steps are over. As a third step, now you have to deploy the contract also, right? So in the main function of this particular file, which is the main function, so automatically whenever the code runs, this function is called. So you can see that the first is we are setting the RPC URL. The second is we are setting the account addresses. So wallet addresses are now set. So for us, this is the code which we have written. These are all code which are generated by the templates. This is the code which we have done. And you can see that it's a sample class app we are deploying over here. So we are calling a function and we are passing the creator. What is the creator? The wallet address. The first wallet address generated by our sandbox. And then what are we doing? We are doing the deploy sample class. So let us scroll to that particular function now. Deploy sample class. This one. Okay. Now what does it tell us? Very simple. I have created a variable of the sample contract. Yes, we have done that. Then we have created a second variable to deploy that. So using this variable, I am deploying. And for deploying, you always need two items. First, your wallet address. So what you need first is your wallet address, which is this creator. That is your creator wallet address. And the second is your RPC URL. And that RPC URL is basically your AlgoGyaan API instance, right? So basically what happens over here, we are deploying our contract. So if we are able to deploy the contract, we all know that in particularly Algorand, we get the app ID, which is basically sort of our smart contract address. So as soon as we do that, this particular variable will give us that app ID, right? So this is required. So first step again, we generated the RPC URL. Second, we did the account part. Now we deployed the contract. So now what is the only thing remaining? How to consume the contract, right? So over here, we are supposed to find out where exactly our contract is deployed, right? So we need that proxy code also. So this is your proxy code, because using this proxy, you will be able to communicate with your smartphone. So over here, we can see that sample contract proxy. From where did I find that? Over here, the moment I generated the proxy of my smartphone. Right? Then over here, I'm passing again the same two things. First is your AlgoGyaan API instance, and the second basically is your, sorry, yeah, smart sample class app.value. That means your app ID. Whatever app ID you have created, you are passing the value over here. So ultimately, what you are telling the proxy to look for, whatever the AlgoGyaan API instance is there, and whatever the app ID. Based on this app ID, this particular S proxy will be able to communicate with our function. So these are all, this code is all not done by me. It is already done by the uh, platform itself or the extension itself. These two lines I have added. So over here, we can see that I have declared a variable called result, and I'm awaiting because it will take some time to deploy the contract over there and all. And we are passing the variable, the wallet address, because in order to interact with the blockchain, you need wallet address. That is mandatory. So this creator wallet address, which we created or which we fetched out of sandbox, we are passing that. Then we are passing the value 2000, which is your gas fees. Then we are passing the two variables related to the function add to number. So let me change the number over here and let me do 18. Then this will present as, if you go carefully look over here, you'll be able to see what is that. So that is string note. So if you want to pass any note, you can, but ultimately it's not required. And the last one is again null, because we don't need anything over there. So the main thing we need is the wallet address, the gas fees, and the arguments related to the function itself. And then whatever we are getting, we are posting the result on the console itself by the function console.writeLine. Now, if let me save the code, let me run. Let us hope that this time we will get 30. So you can see that the answer is 30, right? So this is how we can interact with the smart contract we have just seen. Very simple smart contract, a simple function only, and then couple of functions which you were supposed to copy, and you are good to go. But the point is, do we stop over here only? Because anyways, whenever you create an application using any sort of platform, you can use Flutter, React JS, React Native, whatever it is. The ultimate goal is to create a website, yes, and the second one is a mobile application. So for mobile application, again, in cases of React JS, you have to have React Native. In Flutter also, you need to maintain the mobile and website versions separately. But here in Algorand, or specifically in .NET Studio, you can have a UI called MAUI, right? And this particular UI allows you to deploy the code without doing anything at all on your Android and iPhone applications also. That means the same C# code which you have just written over here. You can write the same C# code over there, and you can still deploy those codes, those you can say templates over the Android platform. Now, believe me, guys, I've been working in blockchain since last 7 years. I've never seen such an easy integration with any sort of C#, because C# is one of the oldest languages. And only one more platform which supports C# at a native level, which is Ethereum. And again, the integration is not that good. But over here, the integration is extremely good. You have already installed AlgoGyaan and all. So you have Docker and everything running on. So you have Sandbox, and you just need to install an extension and you are good to go. Right? Now, guys, what are you doing? Somebody is doing something over the screen. So Premnath, can you? Yeah, thank you. So then let's say if I want to have an MAUI solution. So MAUI solution is basically, if anybody have you ever heard about Xamarin, right? So Xamarin was a cross-platform solution developed by Microsoft. So over there, you will be able to leverage the same code over Windows Store applications, Android phone applications, Android tablet applications, iPhone and iPad applications. So the same code base can be utilized for 5 different kinds of applications, including Windows Phone. But now Windows Phone is out of the picture. So only Windows Store applications, right? So over here, how did we get this one? So if you, let's say, let me just close this one and let me create a new one. So if you create a new project, just search one more time Algorand over here, and you will be able to see MAUI solution. And this particular MAUI basically is your this cross-platform application where you can deploy the same code over to your Android phone also, which I tested. So maybe in some other session, I'll be able to display that also. That straight away from this particular folder or this particular C# Studio, we can deploy an application over your Android phone, and you can utilize that Android application to create your NFTs or your tokens or interacting with your smartphone pretty easily, right? So let me just run this code. Now over here, as I told you earlier also, that we are talking about these console applications or these MAUI applications over here, where we are talking about Windows machine, first of all. So if you drop down over here on right hand side, you can see that Android emulator. In my machine, there is a Pixel emulator installed already. Then iOS devices or iOS simulator or remote devices. That means you can connect to your MacBook also, and you can deploy directly on an iOS device. Now, this is not there in any of the platforms I've worked, right? But in order to run this particular code, even this is a demo code only generated by that extension, what do you need to do? You need to just right click over here and first of all, run this code. This is your backend typically. So if you are aware of React.js, you have to just do npm start on your Node.js application. So this is what exactly we are doing. Start a new instance and we are deploying the reverse proxy server. Once you are able to deploy this reverse proxy server, right click over here and deploy this also. So start new instance. Now let us wait. Yes, so this is your application. This is your MAUI application. And believe me, guys, if you deploy this one on your Android phone, the same look and feel will be there. Right? Yes, a little bit of screen size different, obviously, yes. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. Right? So over here, there are two applications by default are there within this code. and you can deploy main app and you can deploy the second. So let us again one more. You can say let us take a chance whether this works or not. So deploy main app. Yeah, it worked. So now we have 1155, right? Basically, our application which we just deployed. Let me click on deploy secondary app. Yeah, deployed. So over here, this is just an addition function. I can do that 1, 2, 3, and then over here 1, 2, 3. But then I can limit the answer. So if I write over here 5, then the answer will not be more than 5, right? So we don't want to do that. Let's have 5,000 as a value. And then we can add and we can get the result 246. And we can see that there are two call counts. Why? There are two functions right now, or two smart contracts which are being interacting with each other. So over here, we have two values which we added, and with the limit function works over here. Now, if I remove this one, and if I try to do this one more time, what will happen? 50, right? So this time we don't need anything. So we just needed one call, and one call showcase that, okay, because this is already done. So the result will be 50. Why? The limit set for this answer is now 50. So ultimately, we deployed a contract 1155 ID and 1156 ID. Now, you may be able to tell me that what is the proof that I have deployed this one? It may be possible that I have just written some code over there and I'm able to showcase to you. So let us just run this particular app.devflow file, website, which we just saw last time. Let me connect to my sandbox. Let me connect my wallet. I know which are the wallet addresses we have. K0, yeah, this one. And you can see that 1155 and 1156. That means the applications which we just saw, both the applications are over here and deployed, right? You can take a look at what is deployed over here also and what are the interactions done with this one, right? So over here, what have we done? We have deployed a smart contract using what? Using our simple Visual Studio template, this one, right? So ultimately, we have seen two templates today. One is your console application for Sandbox. The other is an MAUI application for your front end or back end solution with the back end solution also, right? So if you want to deploy the same code over there in your Android phone, what do you need to do? You just need to change this one to over here. And if you are aware how to create an APK file, so when you select to this one, go to this folder called debug, and you will see an APK over there, which you can install on your phone to test. But the challenge is, if you have done the Pixel one, it will not work with every mobile phone. Every Android phone, it will not work. So you have to change from your ADB device, that is your Android Resource Manager or Android Device Manager, this one. From this Android Device Manager, you have to create a proper device which suits your phone. Then only you can install. So ultimately, you can create a console-based application, which is basically your terminal. You can create a complete phone application. You can create a website also. As far as you can create a Windows Store application. So ultimately, the code base is pretty much the same. If you expand this MAUI app, and if you go to the contracts file over there, contract client or add to number, this is a proxy file. So let me just find out the contract over here. And add to number, you can see that the code is pretty much the same. See, right? We have just seen the other values over there, the other function over there, the same thing because we are limiting. Otherwise, our code was this one and then return. So ultimately, the code base is pretty much the same. I still remember that even in the React.js and React Native scenario, certain number of, you can say 30-40% code change is always required. And that is a challenge when you are there, when there are multiple people working and all. But here, using C#, everything can be taken care of, right? So you can quickly develop your Windows Store, Android or iPhone applications. Now, how to get this one? So I'll already showcase. Let me show one more time. So just have an open new project. In the search box on the right hand side, just search for Algorand and you will be able to see all the templates done by them. right? If you want to have a web application also, you can. I have not tested, but I can just showcase to you that it also is there. So next, web application, and probably let's see what it presents to us. So here also, now this is a website. So you can see that the same sort of code over here also, right? The limit code. And I'm not sure whether this will work or not. So I'm not going to run this because I'm not tested, but it is possible. But first of all, you need to do this package upgradation. So the best thing for any sort of C# project, just after you create the project, right click and reboot, which will solve most of your errors, right? So it is already telling you that a package downgrade is required. So you can just right click over there and update, and we are good to go. So then you can run this one, and probably you will be able to do the same thing which we just saw over our MAUI application. So ultimately, what is being done? We have seen three different platforms today. One, console application, that means a simple terminal application. We created the class, we created the proxy, we deployed the class using the wallet, and we interacted with the class. Then the second most important thing over there, we did that MAUI. Over there, you can deploy the application on Windows Store. You can deploy an application on Android device or an iPhone device. And here, it also is creating an app or a website for us, right? So you can run this particular page, whatever it is there in the code, you can find out from here what are the basic pages and all. So this is the basic page, index.cs HTML, and you can run from here, right? So ultimate goal is to provide you a platform where most of the problems can be solved, writing the smart contract, interacting with the smart contract, interacting with the RPC URLs, interacting with the wallet addresses, and rest of the things, right? Even creating or deploying your applications directly to mobile phones. If you connect your mobile phone to your laptop, you can directly even install over there. You don't need an emulator also. So there is an option over here. If you go to MAUI solution, if you drop down from here, whenever you connect your phone, it will be listed over here. And then automatically your system will be able to deploy the code on your phone, right? So ultimate goal is you can create directly from here, you can create a mobile application, right? So as planned, we have like finished the 45-minute session. So now we are open for Q&A for the next 15 minutes. So any questions from anyone? Guys, your mics are muted. So if you are speaking, we are not able to hear you. So if you have any other questions like how to do or how to take the next step or how to take the first step or what was, if you missed anything, if you ask anything, please go ahead.
I think no questions coming in is just a testament to how wonderfully well and with what clarity you're doing it, because I am working alongside, and I come from a non-tech background.
Right.
And I've been following your session. I know this is the second, and I do it alongside. And I will say, and folks, I come from a non-tech background. I am the India project lead. My name is Mohita Gupta. A lot of you already know me, and I feel that this is the most it's so clear and simple, and you break it down so well, Sunil. So thank you for this. And guys, if you have questions, please just unmute yourself and go on and ask. And or if you want, if you're too shy, just drop it in the chat box. We'll take that.
Yeah, that is also fine. You can type in the chat box also. Hello, somebody speaking?
I don't think so, but
no idea. Maybe your
so,
sound.
Sunil, are there any pitfalls that one should avoid? Probably, when they're working, with
So,
the
first, when they start to work, they should work on test networks or basically sandbox environments. then they should try to work on these test networks. So over there, if you want to integrate with test network, this is the wallet which you should use. That is your MyAlgo wallet.
Yeah.
So it is very simple to use. In one of the sessions, I will also create one wallet right in front of you, and we will integrate with a live application or a live contract, so that it will be easier for you to understand how to integrate a wallet or a test network wallet, because currently the wallets which we created, it came from the sandbox environment. So sometimes what happens over here also, when you utilize this MAUI application, you will end up into an error. If you run this application just the way I did, by running this reverse proxy first and this MAUI second, you will end up into an error. Why?
Right. Got it,
because over here there is a page. This particular page, main page XAML.cs, this particular function, it comes with a mnemonic, the creator mnemonic.
Yeah.
So you have to find out this mnemonic. You have to go to AlgoKit, your terminal. You have to fire this command, AlgoKit goal list, a goal account list, which will give you the access to all the 3 wallet addresses.
Right.
Copy any of the wallet address and fire this command, AlgoKit goal account export hyphen address. And it will give you the this particular seed phrase. And you have to replace the seed phrase over here. Then only your application will work. Why? Because the templates which is created, the seed phrase is different. The seed phrase is not part of your sandbox. So you need a newer seed phrase.
Yeah.
That is.
And just to know one more thing, since you've spoken about MyAlgo wallet, what about ParaAlgo?
For Para wallet, what happens over here? For Para wallet, Para wallet moves out of your code and then comes back to your code.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes for early adapters, it is difficult. So this particular wallet will give you that seamless experience. You don't need to move out and come back to the application. So this is the first test, but you definitely have to work with parawallet.com.
Yeah, because that is also the preferred wallet.
Yes.
That is now an in-house wallet for us, because they've moved into the Algo Foundation.
This is a developer level wallet.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the final or mainnet level wallet. So you should not use this as your mainnet you can say final product. For final product, you should use this para wallet.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for the explanation.
No worries.
Aage jaake you will teach us, right? The integration with.
Yes.
How? Yeah. Great. Superb. Look forward.
See, today we have just done the introduction. Still, I have showcased a very simple class file, right? Very simple extension of how to do that. Very simple code. We will do, because we are doing only sandbox deployment. So we will do a test network deployment over there. Both the kinds of wallet, Algo wallet and Para wallet. We will connect both one by one.
Perfect. That's great. I'm excited already.
Yeah.
So do we have any questions from anybody? Or anyone wants to say something?
Yeah, that's okay also. If you don't have a question, you can ask a question. I mean, you can discuss anything else also, no problem. So guys, if you have not started working around your Impact Summit project, this also, if you are at least, I mean, if you are aware of C# and all, you can do something over here also, right? There is a website project and all, so it will be easier for you to create a website and then deploy the smart contract and all. If you are a Python developer, anyways, last time we saw the PyTeal also. So we have covered one of the 2 most popular languages. Last time we can say we did Python. This time we did C#. Next time, I guess we are going to have the live installation of AlgoGyaan, so that you can take a look at how to set up the development environment. I'm not sure. We will get a detailed email about what is the next topic.
That's great. If no one has anything to say, do you want to wrap up, Sunil?
Yes. So then, thank you very much, guys, for your time. I understand, again, guys saying that the match is going on. India, Australia, still people have joined. So I really appreciate that. So thank you very much for being a part of our journey.
There are some questions. There are some questions in the chat box, Sunil.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to install prerequisites for practice in VS Code, I wrote WSL. I got this message. No, you don't need to do this. You are talking about Docker installation, right? So don't do that. Let me just showcase over here. So WSL2 manual install and open this one. And download this file. So I'll give the link also over here in the chat. But download this file and install that, period. You don't need anything else. So don't try to have that WSL2 and installation from the prompt and all. Just install this one. Your Docker will work. No problem, Premna. Thank you for asking a question.
Right. And since Ratan had just inquired about where he could find the previous recordings, all our recordings will be uploaded. So the first session has already been uploaded on our YouTube Algo Bharat page. So just go to channels, type in Algo Bharat, and you'll find it. And we'll be going to do the same thing with all the recordings that we do.
YouTube. So over here, Mohita, on this page?
YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube.
YouTube Algo Bharat.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
this is our page.
Over here?
Yeah, just go to the below one because that is the video, no? So just go to the one, over here. Yeah, there, yeah. No,
that's 1 year ago. This
okay,
one.
I'm sorry.
This one. Yes.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
So over here, you will be able to see that. Right?
Also subscribe to it because every time we upload, our recordings, our sessions, also, the other things that we keep posting, and we will be, you will automatically just get a notification.
Yes.
And for those who are not following us on Twitter already, please do that. Our Twitter handle is algo_Bharat, because that is that one page along with LinkedIn where we put out, our freshest, most recent announcements, updates, what have you, everything over there. So please follow us on algo_Bharat. LinkedIn profile, Chetna, LinkedIn profile, just look for Algo Bharat. That's it. Let me see if I can quickly just drop a link.
Yes.
Okay, Chetna's understood. Okay. And Twitter is algo_Bharat. I've just mentioned that in the chat box. Perfect. Then I think it's been a wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you, Sunil. I feel like, if a non-tech person like me can understand, I'm sure, it must have been, you've simplified the concept so well. So I'm sure, everyone who's been on the session today, I'm sure everyone's understood it. But please feel free to reach out to, Sunil via Twitter. Is that okay, Sunil?
Yeah, no problem. Twitter, LinkedIn, anything is all right. No problem at all.
Yes.
See, we are here to share the experiences across each other, right? That is how we learn. Sitting in a cubicle will not help anyone else in the world. So that is the reason you can approach me on Twitter. You can reach me over LinkedIn. No problem at all.
Perfect. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you to the wonderful audience for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday again at 8 p.m. with a new session.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.